Unlock the mysteries of the past, discover the fascinating history of ancient cities. The ancient cities of the world have a long and fascinating history, one that has left its mark on the world we live in today. Ancient cities were the centers of commerce, culture, and power in their respective regions, and they had far-reaching effects on the development of civilization. From the earliest cities of Mesopotamia to the great empires of the classical period, ancient cities were the hubs of trade, religion, and creativity that shaped the world. In this article, we will explore the rich history of ancient cities, uncovering the stories, facts, and events that shaped these cities and their legacies. The earliest cities. The earliest cities in the world were built in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, in the 4th millennium BC. These cities were built along the banks of the two major rivers in the region, the Tigris and the Euphrates, and they were known as the cradles of civilization. These cities were built with mud brick walls and contained houses and temples for their inhabitants. They were also centers of trade, with merchants and traders bringing goods from all over the region. The most famous of these early cities was Ur, which was the largest and most powerful city in the region. Ur was home to the ancient Sumerian civilization, and it was an important center of trade and religious worship. It was also the home of the famous Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The ancient Greek cities. The ancient Greeks are perhaps the most famous civilization in history, and their cities exerted a great influence on the world. The most famous of these cities was Athens, the birthplace of democracy and the home of the famous Acropolis. Athens was a center of culture and learning, and it was also the home of great philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. The city of Sparta was another famous Greek city. It was known for its militaristic culture and its strict social structure. Sparta was also the home of the famous 300 Spartans who fought off the invading Persian army at the Battle of Thermopylae. The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was one of the largest and most influential empires in history, and its cities were the centers of power and culture in the region. The most famous of these cities was Rome, the capital of the empire and home to the famous Colosseum. Rome was a bustling metropolis, and it was home to a wide variety of people, from senators and merchants to slaves and gladiators. The city of Constantinople, now Istanbul, was also an important city in the Roman Empire. It was the eastern capital of the empire and was home to a large population of Greeks, Jews, and Armenians. Constantinople was also the home of the famous Hagia Sophia, one of the most iconic buildings in the world. The Islamic cities. The Islamic world was an influential cultural and political force in the Middle Ages, and its cities were some of the most important cultural and economic centers of the period. The most famous of these cities was Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. Baghdad was a center of learning, and it was home to a large library that contained a vast collection of books and manuscripts. The city of Córdoba in Spain was also an important Islamic city. It was the capital of the Umayyad Caliphate and was home to a large population of Muslims, Jews, and Christians. Córdoba was also home to the famous Great Mosque, which is one of the most impressive Islamic monuments in the world. Conclusion. Ancient cities have a rich history and a fascinating legacy, one that has left its mark on the world we live in today. From the earliest cities of Mesopotamia to the great empires of the classical period, ancient cities were the hubs of trade, religion, and creativity that shaped the world. This article has explored the rich history of ancient cities, uncovering the stories, facts, and events that shaped these cities and their legacies. The ancient city of Nineveh is a prime example of the historic importance of ancient cities. Located in the modern-day nation of Iraq, Nineveh was once one of the most prosperous and powerful cities in the world. It was the capital of the Assyrian Empire, one of the most powerful empires of the ancient world. Nineveh is best known for its famous walls. The city was encircled by a huge wall which was built in the 7th century BC. At the time, it was one of the most impressive structures ever built and was considered a marvel of engineering. It was so impressive that the Greek historian Herodotus described the walls as so great and so lofty that no human power is able to overthrow it. But despite its impressive walls, Nineveh was not to last. In 612 BC, the city was conquered by a coalition of Babylonians, Medes, and Scythians. The city was sacked and destroyed and the people were carried off into captivity. But before the city was destroyed, there were two remarkable events that happened in Nineveh. One was the famous Nineveh controversy which took place between two prominent religious leaders of the time, the prophet Jonah and the prophet Nahum. The two men had a heated debate in the city over a moral issue and the outcome of the debate was recorded in the Bible. The other remarkable event that happened in Nineveh was the famous flood of Nineveh. According to legend, the city was destroyed when God sent a flood to punish the people for their wickedness. This story was later immortalized in the famous Epic of Gilgamesh, which told the story of the flood and its consequences. Today, Nineveh is an archaeological site, and it provides a fascinating glimpse into the history of the ancient city. Visitors can still see the ruins of the city walls and explore the remains of the city's temples, palaces, and other structures. It is a fascinating place to visit and a reminder of the power and importance of the ancient cities of the world. Visit your local library or museum today and uncover the fascinating history of ancient cities. You'll be amazed at how much you can learn about the past and the people who lived in these cities. Take the first step towards uncovering this rich history and join us in exploring the sights, sounds, and stories of the ancient world. Thanks for watching.